Hey guys, so it's your boy, Guided Business Media. I pretty much just wanted to come into Davinci today to be able to finish this real estate promo for my guy Baptiste. He's an amazing real estate agent. I'll be sure to put all of his info below at the bottom of the screen or somewhere above up here. And yeah, if you're looking for a house and you're in the DC, Maryland, or Virginia area, he is your guy. So cool. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into Davinci Resolve. I pretty much had the entire interview already chopped up and everything looks good. I had some B-roll, but we needed to be able to get some other shots of his family to kind of like top this off. One of the biggest things I learned from this project overall was make sure when you plan with your clients that they understand your vision and you guys are on the same page about that. I think Baptiste is an amazing guy. We had some really good chemistry from the beginning, and he was just like, hey man, I don't really do this whole me in front of the camera thing, but I just want you to do your thing. So as a director, you really want to be able to make your clients feel empowered and comfortable, to just kind of like let their personality shine, both in the interview portion as well as like the B-roll. So going to the shots that I wanted to grab was really just like having his family there, portraying him as somebody who's trustworthy, honest, just a really, like down to earth guy, someone you want to buy a home from at the end of the day. So yeah, let's check this out. So pretty much I already went ahead, I color corrected these clips. In order to color correct a lot of these clips, I basically used this base one. I went into my color tab and right here I have a compound node. If I go ahead and I decompose this compound node, all I did was basically I used my buttery LUT for the Ursa Mini Pro, just Rec 709 V2 with no contrast added. And I just went ahead and I upped my, let me go ahead and turn these off so you guys can see what's going on. Boom, 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 boom. Cool, so we went from log footage to my Rec 709. And post my Rec 709, I wanted to go ahead, like I said, so basically, like I said, my saturation. So once I went ahead and did that, just added some color into their skin tones because I felt like it wasn't true to life. Then from there, I went ahead and I just like increased the color temperature. I kept it, there we go. Yeah, I had bumped up the temperature by about 300. Then I went ahead and I white balanced it out. Yep, so on my white balance, all I did was just change my tint more towards the green side. When I was first editing, I had kind of used the RE log C conversion LUT, and I thought that looked really nice, but it wasn't exactly the look I was going for. So then, yeah, I just went ahead and I bumped my tint down by about 3. On the Vibrance tab, I went over here to the color boost section, and then I just went up about 10 or so. I really like sometimes, especially when I'm using black or brown people, for them to have like a rich color in their melanated skin. I just think it looks really, really nice on camera. It doesn't work for every single shot, but it was really like a nice overcast day, and I wanted to be able to kind of like have a nice natural amount of contrast, but also have them look warm, if that makes sense. Then I went ahead and I just went ahead and dropped my shadows on here, just because like this is really nice. It's very milky, but not the look I'm going for. I wanted to add in a little bit more contrast to the image here. And then lastly, I brought it up some by just adding my highlights in. So then now, if you guys can look at, give me 1 second, bring up my parade some so we can see it. There we go. All right, so like I said, like it's saying over here, like in my RGB, my highlights are clipping, but I feel like personally, use your eye, but then also understand like you don't always have to have everything perfect. Over here on my RGB parade, yeah, like I said, I think most times, like I had shot this somewhat underexposed, but that's generally how I like to shoot, just because the Ursa Mini Pro has 15 stops of dynamic range. So when I'm using the Ursa, I'm really trying to kind of keep as much in my highlights and shadows without disturbing my image overall. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did for the look. So my biggest goal, like I said, with this interview was to, like I said, just add these family elements in there. I got some good shots of himself, his fiance, and his daughter. And so we're gonna go ahead and add these in there. So going back through the interview. Cool. So right here on this section, where he's talking about like, hey, like being the son of an immigrant, right? So I had spaced this out for the purposes of having it flow in a natural way. A lot of times when I chop up my interviews, like you don't want to just go from question to question to question to question. Like give yourself space and truly allow for the rhythm, not just flowing with the music, but like allow for the speech pattern to seem more natural, especially if you're chopping up something that may not have been in that original order pretty much. So for the son of an immigrant part, clearly we don't have anything from here. So give me 1 second. Boom. Let's go to Storyblocks.com. I am not sponsored at the moment. Storyblocks, if you'd love to sponsor me, that would be amazing. But let's go ahead. Log in. Go ahead, create some stuff. All right. Tip of the day. Sometimes you really have to pay to play, meaning that on every project, when you run your business or when you're trying to kind of like elevate your projects, it's okay to go ahead and buy assets. It's okay to buy presets. As long as you're using things that are going to elevate the project, it's completely fine to do it. And if you have a business and you have an LLC created, you can go ahead and write those off at the end of the year. So definitely some benefits in that, but definitely pay to play. That's the way to do it. Just make sure you do it in a smart way and don't try to buy anything that you don't need. You can always charge your client ahead of time to basically make sure that they're paying for your assets for you. Or if they really understand it's somebody that you need to work out something with, trust me, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, in order to get your thing done, go ahead and send a separate invoice. It works out really well as long as you're being transparent about what you need and why you need it. So he's talking about being the son of an immigrant and basically his family working hard, right? So what I'm envisioning when I'm trying to help to portray who he is in this video, I'm like, all right, I want to portray just a hardworking family, right? So when I went to Storyblocks, I went ahead and I searched up like, hardworking family, right? Basically, I'm looking on Storyblocks for images that help to just portray this like hardworking lifestyle pretty much. All right, so let's start with this one shot here. Too far. All right, so I want to have the word immigrant hit on when I go to the shot of the families. Alright, and then let's go to here. And then let's drop in clip number 2. And let's make this a little bit shorter depending on how it plays out. And then let's drop it down on top by hitting Alt down. Right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a marker here actually. So let me go ahead and put a marker here where he's talking about family. And so Baptiste talking, man, I cannot spell today, y'all. Talking about family, perfect. All right, and pretty much like I said, the way I like to keep like my thoughts organized is kind of like by the markers. So then like the same way that you would like look at a movie and like y'all remember like back in the old days with DVDs, you could like have chapters. Pretty much this allows me to be able to look back through and say, what was I thinking? And then you can also double click on these actually and add notes. And it just keeps it like super organized on my timeline. Nice. So let's go ahead to the family B-roll section. Actually, side note, yep, smart man. So we also have this already here in the timeline. So I want to go ahead and add in, let me see, not this clip. Actually, that last couple seconds is actually really nice, actually. Yeah, after he was being crazy. All right, cool. Let's add it like here. So I always do Control or Command B, right? So the blade, as long as you're not selecting the clip, it'll go ahead and it'll cut it right through. On this one, I'm going to unlink my audio, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag it to the timeline. Where were we at? Where's my last marker? Yep, there it is. Perfect. So this is Baptiste talking about family. Perfect. So okay, cool. And then where he has another jump cut over here, I'm gonna go ahead and add some more B-roll of his wife this time. Actually, I'm gonna add the one of him and his daughter real quick because I think that was a good shot. Let me go ahead and add these back in here. Let's see how this looks actually. What I was thinking when I was just watching this just now was like when he says one of the biggest things about still being a real estate agent that just gets me so excited is walking through these homes, and then he puts emphasis on it, right? And he's like, and I still love it, right? So I think what I'm gonna do there is when he says on the second one, like I still love it, like I'm gonna do a nice little punch in, and that should help to add some more dynamicness to the video. So let's try this out. Just because I haven't used this angle at all, I'm gonna use it. So when he's describing these homes, we're gonna go back to Storyblocks and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull some footage of what he's talking about, right? So he's talking about, he said a fixer-upper, right? So hold on. All right, so when we're talking about this beautifully redone home, we're actually gonna look for like some home improvement clips, right? Home improvement. All right. Let me do home renovation instead. Hold on. This one I like more. Yeah, let's go with this one. Right in the heart of the city. Bam. So now when he's talking about like what makes him one of the best agents in the DMV, I think it makes sense to go to more clips of him. Not necessarily with his family, but I have some other clips that I could use from earlier, like from that intro shot. I feel like there's been a lot of time between a shot like this one where we can kind of like reuse it to some degree. The biggest thing I try to do when it comes to my B-roll is I don't want to use the same shots over and over again. Like you want to kind of keep it like spicy, you know what I mean? Like you want to keep your client interested. You want to keep your viewer hooked on it. So try not to use similar shots, and that's even why I recommend it to my client. Like, hey, like we need more footage, solely for the fact that like if I just gave it to him and I just used these photos of him, don't get me wrong, he looks great in the suit, and it definitely would have been a visual point of interest. But from a filmmaker's perspective, it needed to be something that was had more variety in it in order to kind of like keep the client's eye. Nice. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Once again, guys, if you could please give me a follow on Instagram at Guided Visions Media. We're going to get this YouTube channel up and running. I'm trying to get on a regular posting schedule. As you can see, the space is new. At some point in time, I'd love to do a studio tour possibly, but really just the goal of this channel was to make sure that we can educate guys and gals and, you know, everyone who just wants to be a filmmaker on just what we can do better with our experiences, and we can learn from them in order to just teach people so that the same mistake doesn't have to be made twice. Yeah, once again, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see y'all in the next one. Peace.